Esteemed viewers, I am Dr. Anderson. To our senior population, I urge your careful attention. For those who regularly consume coffee, the information contained herein could be vital for safeguarding your well-being. Presently, 7 distinct coffee products are subject to recall across 48 states within the United States. These do not represent minor regional manufacturers. Rather, these are brands many of you may currently possess within your household. If you partake in the daily ritual of coffee consumption, or perhaps 2 to 3 cups throughout the day, it is imperative that you be informed of the specific products on this recall list, the reasons for their withdrawal from retail circulation, and the substantial health risks they pose, particularly for older adults. Therefore, I request your sustained attention until the conclusion of this presentation, as I shall provide a detailed exposition of each of the 7 coffees, their identified contraindications and hazards, and the prudent substitutes you should consider adopting immediately. Prior to commencing our detailed discussion, we kindly request you to indicate your approval by selecting the like function. Furthermore, please share your preferred coffee variety, be it dark roast, medium roast, decaffeinated, or instant, in the comment section below. Do not neglect to subscribe for timely and critical advisories concerning senior well-being, similar to this one. Part 1. The escalating incidence of coffee recalls. Let us commence with a fundamental inquiry. When did you last contemplate the actual provenance of your coffee? For the majority, coffee is simply an item acquired from retail outlets, brewed in the morning, and enjoyed unreflectively. However, beneath the surface, coffee navigates a complex global supply chain. From agricultural estates in South America, Africa, and Asia to processors and packagers, and ultimately into your shopping cart, vulnerabilities can arise at every stage of this process. Recalls have experienced a marked increase in recent years because a growing number of corporations are compromising quality standards. Coffee demand has experienced exponential growth, particularly with the proliferation of specialty blends, energy-enhancing coffees, and ostensibly healthy, or diet coffee products saturating the commercial landscape. It is precisely here that the danger emerges. One significant concern is contamination. Coffee beans, as with any agricultural commodity, are susceptible to fungal growth if not stored under optimal conditions. Such fungal growth can yield deleterious mycotoxins, such as ochratoxin, which compromises renal function and impairs immunological defenses. Older adults are particularly susceptible due to diminished efficiency in toxin filtration and the physiological attenuation of renal function associated with aging. Another issue pertains to undisclosed constituents. Certain companies, especially those marketing products for male vitality or slimming purposes, surreptitiously augment their products with undisclosed pharmaceutical compounds. This practice is categorically prohibited by law, yet it persists because these companies seek to make audacious assertions regarding their products, such as faster energy, weight loss, or improved stamina, and they recognize that consumers will perceive an effect if pharmacological agents such as sildenafil or sibutramine are illicitly incorporated. A critical aspect of this issue is that older adults may be concurrently taking cardiac medications, anticoagulants, or diabetes treatments, and such combinations can prove potentially fatal. Furthermore, there is the problem of mislabeling caffeine levels. Some recalled coffees have been found to contain twice or even 3 times the amount of caffeine declared on their labels. For a healthy individual aged 25, this might merely result in a period of heightened nervous agitation. However, for an older adult with atrial fibrillation, hypertension, or an irregular heartbeat, it could necessitate acute medical intervention in an emergency department. Consequently, when a coffee product recall is announced, it signifies more than mere administrative formalities. These recalls occur because a genuine peril is inherent within the product, and the Food and Drug Administration intervenes only when the associated risks are deemed unacceptably high. Part 2. The initial 2 nationwide coffee recalls. Let us now examine the first 2 coffee products that have already been recalled from distribution in numerous states. 1. The energy-boosting instant coffee brand ***. This particular recall is especially concerning because the product was specifically targeted at older adults. Advertisements promised enhanced stamina, improved cognitive focus, and even renewed vitality. Senior citizens across the nation purchased it, anticipating a mild, invigorating effect with their morning coffee. However, investigators made an alarming discovery. The product contained undeclared sildenafil, the active pharmaceutical ingredient present in Viagra. Why is this dangerous? Because millions of older adults already take cardiac medications, nitrates, or blood pressure regulating drugs. Administering these medications in conjunction with sildenafil can precipitate an abrupt and perilous reduction in blood pressure. This could manifest as vertigo, syncope, accidental falls, or even myocardial infarction. Imagine an unwitting older adult merely attempting to enjoy a cup of coffee with breakfast and suddenly requiring emergency medical transport. This is precisely why this product was recalled promptly upon laboratory confirmation of the hidden drug. The imported herbal coffee mix ***. The second major recall involves a coffee sold in small packets at convenience stores and online, marketed as an herbal energy coffee. It presented as naturally derived, innocuous, and salubrious. However, laboratory analysis revealed exceedingly elevated concentrations of ochratoxin, a fungal toxin previously referenced. Herein lies the significance. Ochratoxin does not induce acute symptomatology comparable to foodborne illness. Instead, it accumulates insidiously within the physiological system, gradually compromising renal integrity over time. Older adults who already experience existing renal impairment or who are diabetic are particularly at risk. Furthermore, because the product was distributed in small packets, many individuals consumed them daily without realizing they were being subjected to insidious intoxication through gradual consumption. These initial 2 recalls underscore the critical importance for older adults to exercise extreme vigilance. Coffee can appear innocuous, possess acceptable palatability, and yet still harbor significant dangers. Part 3. 3 additional coffee products potentially in your storage area. We now proceed to examine 3 more coffee products that have been withdrawn from retail circulation. These may sound very familiar, as they were extensively distributed in grocery stores and online. 3. The keto-friendly coffee pods ***. The ketogenic diet is currently one of the most prevalent dietary trends, and companies are capitalizing on this by producing keto-friendly coffee pods with assertions of lipolytic advantages. However, the recall revealed a critical issue. The caffeine content was approximately twice the declared amount on the label. For younger individuals, this might merely result in nervous agitation or episodes of insomnia. However, for older adults, such amplified caffeine levels can induce a critically hazardous cardiac state. Consider the implications. You brew a single pod expecting perhaps 100 milligrams of caffeine, but you are actually ingesting 200 milligrams or more. This is sufficient to provoke cardiac arrhythmias, precordial discomfort, or acute hypertensive episodes, significantly elevating the risk of cerebrovascular accident. 4. The organic cold brew bottles ***. We generally revere the designation organic, but unfortunately, such labeling does not confer immunity against microbial ingress. A national coffee chain was compelled to recall its bottled cold brew because testing revealed hazardous microbial proliferation in certain batches. Cold brew, being prepared at lower temperatures, is inherently more susceptible to microbial spoilage if not handled with rigorous adherence to sanitation protocols. For older adults, foodborne illnesses represent a grave concern. While a younger adult might experience transient abdominal spasms or diarrheal episodes, older adults are susceptible to profound fluid depletion, necessitating inpatient medical care, or potentially developing fatal sequelae stemming from infectious processes. This is why this particular recall was of paramount importance. The company acknowledged deficiencies in their bottling protocols that were inadequate to prevent bacterial growth. 5. The extra-strong espresso tins ***. Finally, we address highly concentrated espresso preparations sold in metal containers at discount and dollar stores. They appeared sufficiently innocuous, simply potent powdered espresso product packaged in a canister. However, independent testing revealed residual concentrations of heavy metals, specifically including lead. Chronic lead exposure is one of the most dangerous things for seniors as it can worsen memory problems, affect balance and coordination, and damage the cardiovascular system. This isn't a recall you'll see on the evening news, but it's one you need to know about. Seniors who bought these inexpensive espresso tins thinking they were getting a bargain could actually be poisoning themselves slowly over time. Part 4: The final 2 coffees seniors must avoid. Now we come to the last 2 coffees on this recall list. And in many ways, these are the most deceptive because they look completely safe at first glance. 6. The sweetened iced coffee cans. Picture this. It's a hot day. You stop at a gas station or grab something quick at the grocery store and you pick up a can of sweetened iced coffee. It's cold, refreshing, and the label shows a modest sugar content. Many seniors, especially those watching their diabetes or weight, trust that information. But here's the bombshell. The recall found that the actual sugar content was significantly higher than what was printed on the label. Why is this such a big deal? For seniors living with type 2 diabetes, sugar control is absolutely critical. A hidden surge of sugar can send blood glucose levels skyrocketing. That doesn't just mean feeling tired or irritable. It can trigger dangerous complications like diabetic ketoacidosis, severe dehydration and hospitalization. Even if you don't have diabetes, sudden blood sugar spikes can cause inflammation, put extra strain on the heart, and contribute to memory fog or dizziness. What makes the situation worse is that many of these sweetened iced coffees are marketed as light, low sugar, or better for you. Seniors who rely on those claims may drink them daily without realizing the toll it's taking on their health. Some cans had nearly double the sugar content listed, which means if you thought you were getting 15 g, you might actually be consuming closer to 30. Over time, that much hidden sugar accelerates weight gain, worsens insulin resistance, and increases your risk of heart disease. This recall is such a good reminder. Labels aren't always trustworthy, and marketing can be downright misleading. Seniors, if you ever buy canned or bottled coffees, be extra cautious, and when in doubt, brew your own at home where you know exactly what's going in your cup. 7. The diet coffee supplements. Now let's talk about one of the most troubling recalls on this list: diet or slimming coffee supplements. These are usually sold as powders or sachets marketed to people who want to lose weight while still enjoying their morning coffee. They often claim to boost metabolism, burn fat, or help suppress appetite. But behind those claims, the FDA found something shocking. Several batches of these coffees were laced with a banned drug called sibutramine. Sibutramine was once sold as a prescription weight loss medication, but it was pulled from the US market years ago because it was linked to strokes and heart attacks. Yet here it was hidden in diet coffees being sold online and in small shops without any disclosure on the label. Now let's think about the risks for seniors. Many older adults already deal with heart problems, high blood pressure, or circulation issues. Adding a hidden stimulant like sibutramine on top of daily prescriptions could be deadly. The drug raises heart rate and blood pressure, while also interfering with how your body regulates serotonin and norepinephrine. That's a dangerous mix for anyone, but especially for seniors. What makes this recall even more frustrating is how these products are marketed. They often target women over 50 or 60 who feel frustrated about weight gain. They use glamorous packaging, testimonials from supposed customers, and phrases like doctor recommended or clinically tested. But behind the scenes, they're cutting corners, hiding dangerous ingredients, and gambling with your health. So seniors, please, if you see a coffee that claims to burn fat, boost weight loss, or act like a magic solution, treat it as a giant red flag. Real coffee doesn't melt pounds away. And if a product promises it will, chances are it's hiding something you don't want in your body. Part 5: What seniors should do right now. At this point you might be wondering, all right, doctor, I hear you, but what should I actually do if I'm worried about my coffee? Let's break it down into some practical step-by-step advice. Step 1: Check your kitchen immediately. Go through your pantry, coffee drawer, and fridge today. Look at every package of coffee, whether it's instant, pods, bottled, or ground beans. Pay attention to brand names, lot numbers, and expiration dates. If any of them are on the recall list, get rid of them right away. Don't wait. Don't take chances. Step 2. Visit the FDA recall website. Many seniors don't know this, but the Food and Drug Administration has a public website that lists every single recall currently in effect. It's updated daily, and you can search by product name. It only takes a few minutes, and it's the most reliable way to know if something you've bought is unsafe. Step 3. Don't donate, dispose. Sometimes when we realize we don't want a food product anymore, we think about donating it to a food bank. But please, if it's on the recall list, do not donate it. Throw it away or return it to the store for a refund. Donating a recalled coffee only puts another person at risk. Step 4. Choose safer coffee alternatives. Stick to reputable brands that clearly disclose their ingredients, caffeine content, and origin. Look for companies that are transparent about where their beans are sourced, how they're roasted, and how they're tested. Avoid coffees that make bold health claims like burns fat, restores energy, or enhances performance. Real coffee doesn't need gimmicks. If you're sensitive to caffeine, consider switching to half CFF or decaf. These are much easier on the heart and blood pressure. And reputable decaf brands use safe methods like water processing to remove caffeine. Step 5. Talk with your doctor. If you've been drinking one of the recalled coffees and have noticed unusual symptoms, things like dizziness, heart palpitations, stomach upset, or extreme fatigue, tell your doctor right away. Even if the symptoms seem mild, it's important to connect the dots. Many seniors chalk things up to just getting older when in reality, it could be something you're consuming every day. Finally, and maybe most importantly, I want to stress this. Recalls are not about panic. They're about protection. The FDA doesn't pull products for no reason. If a coffee is being recalled, it means there is a real risk. And as seniors, we need to be extra vigilant. Your morning coffee should bring comfort, energy, and joy, not hidden dangers. By staying informed, checking your kitchen, and making smart choices, you can keep enjoying your daily rituals safely.